allegiance, please.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's hard to figure out.
I'm turning slow.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting was called to order with the following answering roll call.
Mayor Ridenhour.
Here.
Earl. Here. Ewing.
Here.
Harding. Knox.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Zimmerman. Here.
Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. So approved. Fiscal officer report.
$1,533,760.65 in all funds, $235,159.58 in the general fund.
Any additions?
No additions.
Okay. Bills were read. Resolution 16-7-1 was adopted on a motion by.
So moved.
Miller.
Yes.
Earl.
Yes.
Ewing.
Yes.
Knox.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
All right, we'll start with the guests. Mr. Runkle?
Yes, I have a concern about down where the pallet place is at. I know you say that that only has to be mowed twice a year, but I think for the sake of the kids, either change the zoning or change it so they have to mow it more often. Because there's animals and all kinds in there, insects, you know, and the kids wander around playing like they usually do. They get over there and they could get hurt, and maybe nobody needs to know.
Well, I did have a conversation with the property owner about 2 months ago. He did comply with the front of the property. But Fred, you want to kind of
Yeah.
fill in where we're at on that?
After you stopped in, we went down and checked it. Probably sometime last year, the village had an enormous amount of debris, dirt that was piled up on our property that we had projected to do another project with that never happened. And one of the projects was to fill in the pond out north of town. And we took all that. Well, it got to the point where we couldn't put any more in there because that was filled. So the property owner allowed us, because they need fill in there from the footers and so forth, because there's a lot of undulating territory in there because of the elevator. So we moved that over onto his property, okay, and kind of spread it out. After you came in, I walked that property and determined that it'd probably be almost impossible for somebody to mow it in that condition.
It could be sprayed.
Well, and so what we did was, since we kind of created that problem for him, we did spray it this past week with the intention that we're going to kill the weeds this year with spray, take them down, then we're going to go in and level what we put in there to make sure that we do, just like we would any other property we do work on, and we're going to level that for that, what we put in there, to make sure that he can mow that in the future or take care of his property. So the village is going to take those weeds down, or we have sprayed them. We've got to wait and let them settle because, you know, it's got to start dying, and then we will cut them down and then look at the condition of the ground, and then for whatever we put in there, we will flatten that out and then basically turn that over to his acceptance at that point. So that should be coming down fairly soon.
No, I still think either the zoning needs to be changed since he doesn't have a business there anymore.
Well, now that is something also, that's another topic, because we're, you know, looking at the immediate issue. You can't do spot zoning changes. So you have to change the zoning law, which that's fine. I mean, they can do that, but what that requires, and then our attorney may be able to speak better to the zoning process of having public hearings and putting together those type of things, and what all the properties that would be impacted by that and how it would be impacted. I'm not quite sure the total process of change the zoning.
Well, either that, or if nothing else, change it so that you have to mow it more than twice a year. That would be a quick solution.
All property owners and all commercial, and see, that's agriculture, commercial together. So that would just change all of that. And that can happen, I mean, if they go to the zoning board and the zoning board recommends that, and I just don't know, is that a council vote or a public vote for zoning?
It's the latter, but we can look at our nuisance statutes, because if they permit that to be.
Could you speak up, please? I can't.
I apologize. I will be happy to tell council about this, but one of the options would be, if that becomes what appears to be a public nuisance, we can give them the same argument, make the same argument that they have to abate the nuisance. When they don't, we can go in and mow it, and it sets it to their taxes. You have to use a bush hog on it. That's the short-term solution, because trying to change the zoning is not gonna get it done in this season, and it makes sense.
Well, I
Short-term
understand
solution,
that.
you do that way.
But I'm just more concerned about the kids.
I understand, that makes sense.
So I think you should see some results, because it's already been sprayed.
Yeah, I saw it was turned a little bit,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, because after you came in, I went out and walked it and determined that it'd be difficult for anybody to mow that. And it may still, after we do our part, but that would at least mean that we alleviated our issue.
Okay.
I have a quick question about your pallet company also. You said that you talked to, can't remember his name, but Bill, and he, whatever to the front, he was in compliance on the front. And what is all that crap over there? Is that the people that live there now? They've got all those vehicles and jacks and this, and that,
Refrigerators
and that,
and-
and refrigerators, and yeah, what's all that crap?
Well, we're figuring out a way to address that.
Okay. I heard that some from the house directly behind me, 'cause there's multiple people in there, are moving over to where Jerry used to live and fixing that up, and
There's somebody.
I don't know where all that crap, if that's coming out of that apartment or what that crap is, but that's a mess.
And it's a danger to children.
It is. I mean, there's a refrigerator, I don't know if it's like a cooler with glass, I don't know what I saw over there the
Yeah.
other day.
There were 2 refrigerators. I did approach that as far as, they couldn't have the doors on them.
Right,
Until they
exactly.
decide what they're gonna do with that stuff. You know, we've always had a problem there.
Yeah.
And, it's very hard to get compliance on a regular basis. Typically, if we ask, it gets taken care of, but then it just kind of falls back again. Then we have to ask again, and.
Yeah, and I didn't know if it was, you said he was, or if this was the new people just bringing this crap and leaving it, or what was happening with it.
Well, I think typically very little of it, other than a few trucks, belongs to the property owner. I think most of that stuff belongs to the renters of.
And then on the other end of the building, doesn't that other guy use that for working on cars, right?
Yes.
I thought so. I just saw the refrigerators and the free, whatever the heck all that was sitting there.
The refrigerators and stuff are the ones that were removed from the property. They're completely gutting that south side of the building, which is where the apartment was and is going to be. And so that, after Jerry passed away, the previous tenant moved out and left everything behind. So the people that are trying to move in now have moved that stuff out there.
It's all coming out of there.
I'm being told that it's temporary, but I don't know what the definition of temporary is on that. But certainly we can speak with the solicitor about drafting, a letter or something to get out to the property owner as well as the people who reside there, or plan to reside there, explaining them what they need to do to be in compliance with our current ordinances.
Well, I guess my concern was because the house directly back there where all these people live, I know there aren't kids, I don't know how little or whatever.
Right.
And like I said, if the doors are on there, I mean, good God. they get in there and shut a door, I mean,
Right.
that was my concern.
Yeah, I believe there's a basketball hoop across the street from that house, so they're playing in and among that
Yeah.
area right now.
Yeah, they are.
So to speak.
Yeah, they were dragging that down the street the other day.
Okay.
I don't know where they got it, but. Okay.
Okay, let's go to committee reports. All right. Police report?
Update on 318 East Wapakoneta Street, the Maurice Duggins property. I've been in regular contact with Mr. Duggins' auctioneer, Lucky Montoya. Mr. Montoya and his team have been working towards the auction scheduled for this Saturday, July the 30th, at the property. Mr. Montoya said that they will be auctioning everything, including the real estate. As if anyone's driven past there the last several days, you've noticed there's been a lot more vehicles out there. That was actually done intentionally. He asked if that was okay. It was basically all of the vehicles and possibly a few more that were previously in violation on that property that they're wanting to auction off. So I did tell them that was okay. They're going to be spending the bulk of this week, and they actually started last week trying to get things set up for the auction. You'll be seeing a tent or two popping up out there probably by Wednesday. And the auction is slated, I believe, for 10 o'clock Saturday morning.
It'll get a lot messier before it gets better.
It is going to get a lot messier before it gets better. But he did assure me that the expectation is that all of the property that sold that day will be removed that day, with the exception of if someone buys 7 cars, it may take them 1 or 2 days to get a trailer to haul them all away. But he said certainly within 3 to 4 days after the conclusion of the auction, everything will be gone. And it will be completely cleaned up. So that is our anticipation. Mr. Duggins did receive a continuance on his criminal case with the village. The trial is now scheduled for August the 9th. I believe it's in the afternoon on the 9th. The solicitor may be able to speak more on that, as far as I know that there's some things that may happen if the auction goes forward, and if everything's taken care of by then, we may be able to avoid the criminal charges, but that'll be subject to whatever Mr. Duggins does between now and then. Fundraising update for the canine. Donations are still coming in. I've been pleased with the positive feedback received from the community and local businesses. We have gotten close enough with the donations that I've begun testing out dogs at Vonderhaus German Shepherds out here on Boundary Road. That may be a match for our department and community. It looks as if I may be in the August class. I'll be starting in August with a new dog ready to go by the end of September. Walmart has said that they will donate food for our canine as long as we have a canine program. And Dr. Darrell Osborne in Wapak at Auglays Animal Hospital, rather. Not Family Hospital, Auglays Animal Hospital. That would be bad. He has extended his offer to provide veterinary services similar to what he did with UConn. So we've got those two areas taken care of as well. Lastly, school will be starting here in a couple weeks, in mid-August. I've met several times with school officials over the summer. As we get closer to the start of the new school year, I will be instructing teachers and staff on the school safety plan that we have in place, as well as other security and safety measures in place at the school. After that, I will be teaching a brief active shooter lesson, as I'm an active shooter instructor, as a refresher course for the staff. We've had several issues crop up over the summer involving some of their students. That's why I've been in contact with them throughout the summer, so they are prepared and caught up to speed at the beginning of the school year, rather than waiting until something actually happens and not understanding that we have some new individuals in town that may create some issues to school. So we're working on plans as we speak. That is all I have.
Any questions? Solicitor, or not solicitor, but administrator.
You don't
I remembered, I was thinking that Dick told me at the last meeting I was supposed to put the solicitor first so the police chief didn't bust his bubble each time. That's what I had on
I don't
mind.
care.
Okay, administrator.
What we have mainly just to touch on is the 3 major projects that are going on. North Westminster Street, and along with the Lagoon project. and getting ready to start the North Town Storm Sewer project this fall. Everything is moving along a little smoother. The lagoons is going very well. North Town, that will of course be coming through the engineer's office. We're just participating with that. County engineer will be handling that. And the North Westminster Street last week, a lot of activity, brought in full crews, and we've seen a lot of progress. A lot to be done, but confident that we're moving in the right direction. So that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions? Mayor's report, Mayor's Court, $770 was deposited into the general fund for the month of June. They had concluded our audit for the village that they do every 2 years, correct? I'm pleased to announce that I'm very proud of Jill and Jerry and Judith on their bookkeeping and everything that they've done, because our audit came out very well. There's a few little things that we've conversed back with them that they said, well, maybe you don't have to do that, you know, but everything came out really well, and I was very pleased. This was Jill's first on her own, and appreciate your hard work. You too, Jerry.
Yes.
And Judith,
Yeah.
who's not here tonight, but each individual has different parts that they have to take care of, make sure all that paperwork, all the receipts, everything is in line, and evidently the auditor was happy, so I'm happy.
Good job.
Okay, let's go to old business. Any new business? We're going to be doing some things out at the park, just so you have the information. Gonna be putting a roof on the restroom
Oh, yeah.
out there, and some spouting. We're gonna be tearing down a garage, try to straighten some of the property up. One of the
Storage shed to be.
storage buildings will be removed. We've decided for now, rather than have somebody else wanting to put another building on our property, we acquired a building this last year. And that one was, the Time Warner building that's out there, that was donated to the village. So we asked, well, can we have the generator as well? And they said, yeah. So we're gonna be doing some things. Right now, on our system out at the maintenance building, when we have a power outage, we have to manually go in, start the generator, and so on and so forth. This generator is automatic, so we're going to transfer that one to that building, and then the one that we've got out at the park, we'll be putting over here at the Pence building. So things are falling in line pretty good. But anyway, the Time Warner building, the best use we've found for that for the moment is to allow the Ball Association to use it for storage instead of these little sheds sitting around the park property. So that's where we're going with that. Yes.
Will that Time Warner building be relocated to somewhere else on the property, or will it stay
No.
where it's at?
And stay where-
That building is pretty much solid concrete.
What's the size of that building?
Mhm.
Size of that building?
It's probably 12 by 12.
It's a little bigger than that. Not much.
Yeah, it's something
It's
that's.
probably about 12.
But it's a solid concrete petitions and concrete pad, and we've coordinated with them that we'll be removing the generator at some point in time and relocating it down to the water plant. we're very appreciative of what Time Warner did with that respect, because, it's a very expensive generator, and, so the village will be able to utilize that. The other one, as the mayor talked about, we talked, move it down to the Pence building, so that if we would have to have, catastrophe like the ice storm and so forth, that we can have generation at different points. And,
I have another question. If Time Warner donated that building to you, is Time Warner pulling out of the village?
No, what they did was put in a central hub, to where they don't need to utilize the building anymore.
I'm just
I
curious.
don't know how their system actually works, but
yeah, if you look outside the Time Warner building, right now there's 2 pedestals.
Yeah.
That replaced the whole building
Okay.
of switchgears. What happened is they regionalized. What I was told was this was a hub, and it was so outdated, and this was some of the biggest problem areas, so they transferred this hub, I think, to maybe the St. Mary's area, and this just become a connection point, so they just eliminated it altogether.
You get the AT&T one now, next? Get rid of that big old combo coming
What?
in? The phone building, that one, there's a area, that blowing wire up there, that's pulling the pole down. I don't know if this is proper procedure. Dealing with Northwest Mister Street project.
yeah.
Are those new light posts set permanently now, or are they going to straighten them up? Because right now you come in town,
They're
like
only-
45 degrees with the other poles out there.
Right, they're only just
Temporary?
temporarily sitting there until they get the heads and everything put on. And then we've been assured that they'll be straightened.
A little
Because
bit
they,
better- a little
right
bit
now,
better
they do
assured than
look
the
pretty bad.
sidewalks. It took a year for the sidewalks to get taken care of, graded out.
Yeah,
So that,
yeah.
It's not, ODOT was in charge of the sidewalks
Yes.
in town?
yeah, not the ones that got done right was us.
Okay, 'Cause I mean, the village did come back and graded out the sidewalks, which I'm grateful for, because you had a 3-inch, 4-inch drop.
We didn't do that.
On a lot of that.
ODOT did that.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of time to get it in compliance with pretty much ADA. So,
But
I
again,
am grateful that it finally got done.
but I'm saying that again, it's ODOT. They're the project managers, they're in charge of the subcontractors, of the contractors, and they're in charge of the whole aspect of it at this point. The portion of it the village was responsible for was 2 years ago, when we cut up the road, put new infrastructure in, and a portion of sidewalks that were done. When you saw that project, it started and was completed.
Yeah.
That was the village's project. But we worked these 2 projects in conjunction for grants
Yes.
and loans. But this phase of it, which was the final overlay of blacktop, most of all the sidewalks and the lighting is the part of ODOT's project. Now, I converse with them on a regular basis. They've assured me that the condition that it's in at this state, rest assured they will not sign off on it.
Is ODOT District 7 or District 4? Which district are you working with?
7.
Seven, okay.
And like I say, they've assured us that we'll be happy when they're done.
I will go on to say, that doesn't mean there's not gonna be some delay, because since this past week when they set the polls, we've also, everybody's realized that the communication transmission lines are right on top of the poles. Now, at certain points, they're across the sidewalk from them, it's not a problem, but there's several areas, that's how it's gonna be an issue. We're trying to get a hold of the communication, Time Warner and CenturyLink, to make arrangements to get those lifted, moved to where it will be acceptable. I can't guarantee exactly how that will work, but we'll work in conjunction with that. It may be a case where all the lights are set in operation, maybe 2 or 3 of them aren't, until that gets raised, because it's mostly, unfortunately, in this section right in this area, they're rounded down through there, but we're optimistic that that will happen. Well, we know it will happen, it's just,
It's time, yes, okay.
Do you mind if I ask Fred a question, please?
Sure.
how long before these people that's north of town is gonna get their water, or not the water, lights and their sewer put in? They had that put in, and they didn't pay the village taxes.
Say what now?
Their sewer and their lights, they don't have them in yet. You got the
The
water.
lights.
Yeah, the electric.
Oh, okay, the electric. Well, we've been working in conjunction with the property owner, and they have water along their timeline. As a matter of fact, they've contacts, we've been waiting for them. The sewer's been ready. They have to come to that. And I think that's your son-in-law, isn't it?
Yes,
So
it is.
he's been in conjunction with us, and it's in his timeline. Then as soon as they do that, then they'll go to the next part. So everything is kind of moving along, but some of that is working with him in his timeline. But I think he's told me that in the next maybe week to 10 days, they'll be tying in the sewer. But we're ready. Our part's done.
Okay.
And they have the water and the electric. As soon as the sewer gets done, then we can work with electric because they're kind of in the same area. So he seemed very fine with that timeline.
Okay.
Any other new business?
Yeah, I see a letter sent to the Girl Scouts for the painting they did back in the park. I think it seems like they did a really good job. And I thank you letter already sent to them, acknowledging what they've done for the park.
I don't know if they're done yet or not. I haven't talked to them, so.
They just have to catch up with one bleachers on Diamond 2 on the west side of the diamond. They just gotta do touch-ups. Basically when they did the lettering on the benches, they got a little slack, so they just gotta go back through and just trace over it. From what I heard, then that's all they had to do.
Yeah, they'll probably report back to us at that point, I would think.
So it's either done, I think.
I haven't even talked to them because their schedule is that they do it either on the weekends or sometimes after 4 or 5 o'clock at
Yeah,
night.
about 6 o'clock that night.
And we're
when we get
gone,
back out,
so
and they're
we
gone,
don't
yeah.
see them.
But I just talked with Barb Warner, and she just said they just got a little touch up on that one bench, and that should be it for the painting out there.
We can do that though. We have thank you cards if you guys wanna sign one. I can send, make sure that gets sent to
Be a
them.
good idea.
Yeah.
Well, you know, for Girl Scouts and any other group that helps with any type of project in a community like this, I think it's a good stewardship thing that they learn early of some of the things that has to be done to maintain a park or whatever it might be, so I think it's good.
I just remembered something. Soccer season is starting out. The soccer season out here at Waynesfield started today.
Okay.
They are part of the Logan County League again. There are no home soccer games. Everything's away on Saturdays. We have 3 practice fields up out there. The U10 is in between Diamond 1 and Diamond 2, like it was last year. And the U6 and U8 are between Diamond 3 and the T-ball diamond. Okay, the same positions where we were last year. Everything worked out spacing wise last year. I'd like to thank council and village for letting me have those three fields.
You're not planning on doing anything on the other side of the drive, are you? Because
I
we have a
think-
county storm tile project that we're waiting on them.
Until I get a U12 team up, I won't be going on that side of the, right away. So you got at least another year.
Just, you know, an FYI, if you would encourage, because since you're in the middle of those diamonds, try to, we would strongly encourage that nobody drive their vehicles in the yard, because
Yeah,
hopefully they'll stay in the parking areas. I know sometimes
they'll stay in the
parents-
parking areas and also how they park during baseball, you just
Yeah.
drive, just.
Yeah, so I mean,
Because
let's
the
say-
fields take up anything else in
Yeah,
between.
that way, because it's just so hard to recover that, you know, if it's slightly wet, so we just ask that nobody drive their vehicles on the field.
And one of the U6's soccer goals met to unfortunate demise. So I'm in the process of ordering U6 soccer goals out there, because that one, I mean, PVC pipe will only last, not what, 15 years old? That's probably the last this long. So one finally broke, and I'm just waiting to see what my funds look, the soccer funds look like, so we can order aluminum soccer goals. And
Okay.
reason why I asked about the building, I would probably need a place to store. Because I would not, the PVC and the steel ones can sit outside year round, but the aluminum one that I'm looking at, it's a portable one, I don't want to be too portable and not be here next year if I need it and it walks off. I'd like to be able to get it somewhere secure after the season. I mean, I will,
Let me encourage you to talk to Brian Shaw, who's part of the Ball Association, because they're actually starting to talk, and I don't want to talk preliminary,
I talked with Brian
about
tonight, they're gonna-
a youth sporting.
yeah.
So that would encompass you too, so maybe you can coordinate some of those things.
And Russians, I'll give you a set date when the soccer season's over, for the Russians to stay open. I think our last season's games maybe like October 31st. Last year they kind of winterized the Russians before the season was over, and I had 6-year-olds and they have to go bathroom, there's no place to go.
If you let us know in advance, because we wouldn't have known that, but October.
I know,
October's
lack of my
the
part
norm.
of letting the village know, it's like hot and sunny out, and then we just got the cold snap and it's like, they were shut up and it's like, oh
Right.
crap.
Without knowing that, October's usually the month.
So they just went on, you know.
We don't have any heat or anything in those restaurants, so
I
we
know,
have
so
to
you got
kind of
more
watch it,
than-
monitor
exactly.
pretty close.
I'm going to check the funds, see if I can get a porta potty up there, and I was thinking
Well,
about putting
October,
it.
if we have a decent winter and we know you're using it, we'll wait.
Yeah.
We just have to watch it.
But I'm so thinking about getting a porta potty out there, because my U6 team or players field is the furthest from the restroom. So if I get a porta potty and put it up there around Diamond 2, along the fence, would that be okay for the location? I know you had a little stone pad up there on the T-ball diamond.
Yeah, we'd like to keep it probably somewhere like, well, we actually moved the one, it used to be out by the driveway.
Oh, okay,
We
yeah.
didn't think that'd be good, so we moved it up in the parking area. Just kind of come out sometime when we're there and tell us where you're thinking. I think more than anything is making sure somebody don't drive by and somebody stepping out in the restroom.
Yeah. I'd probably have to get close to get some
Yeah.
coffee I got from
Yeah.
there, so
So-
that way it won't blow over and won't.
Right.
But I was wondering if that would, if I get enough like that for.
We really don't have a problem with where it's at, but they had normally put it in the driveway. We just felt like it'd be better in the parking lot,
Yeah.
where there's less likely somebody step out and get picked on. Especially little ones.
Yeah.
Anything else? Solicitor.
Well, for the most part, everything was reported either by. And that's to everyone's benefit. We had made a proposal to the gentleman out there with the used junk and car lot, and as everybody knows, he's on his second, actually now he's on his third lawyer in this case, and his lawyer was going to ask for continuance of the trial on July 12th anyway, when he decided to move into the option of the auction. We proposed that if the place is cleared off, we would dismiss the charges. Nobody actually wanted to pound the flesh or the criminal charges pressed, provided the thing got cleaned up. So we'll have a better idea this time next week